The Fantasy Six-Pack Hour. With your hosts, Joe Bond.
You're awful.
And AJ Applegarth.
It's Sin Shu Chu. It's a mouthful.
All right. Welcome to the Fantasy Six-Pack Hour. My name is Joe Bond, founder of FantasySixPack.net. With me, as usual, AJ Applegarth. What is up, man?
My allergies are up. My fantasy basketball brackets are not, because I have one that I filled out, and it's the one for our league. Actually, I use that same one for a work league, but that's it.
Doesn't matter. As long as you're playing along, it's fun, man. I know usually you're in like 15 of those things.
I
drop
mean,
a cool like grand on it or something. I don't even know what you do. You're crazy.
Not that much. I win grand.
Liar.
I did. The 1 year when I cashed in, I hit just under $1,000. I think I spent like $160. So
not bad. Yeah, that's a solid turnout. I like it.
Absolutely.
I don't think I've ever pulled down that kind of money, although I don't go into the highest, the big ones like you, but that is okay. Anyway, on the show tonight, or for the show tonight, we're going to be doing our NL West preview, getting you ready for the 2021 fantasy baseball season. It's our last division preview of the year. So if you haven't watched the other ones, go back and watch those. And while you're there, subscribe and follow us on YouTube or Periscope or wherever you're listening to us, iTunes and Spotify, etc. We appreciate your support. Also want to remind everybody, I just started playing on Underdog. It's a best ball site. It's pretty phenomenal, actually. You can actually sign up and use promo code SIXPACK, all spelled out, and they'll give you your money back if you're not happy after a month. So, kind of trial, worry-free, figure it out, see what you like and what you don't like, and go ahead and try that out there. Promo code SIXPACK. Let's bring in our guest first, Travis Argo, writer here for a Fantasy Six Pack. Did the NL West preview on the site. Travis, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing great, guys. It's great to be here to make my debut. It's actually the first time I actually get to see your face and actually talk to you in person.
Yeah, man.
Usually on the Slack chat, I just see your photos. Like,
right.
AJ's got his with the drink. You got yours with your little dad shirt on. So it's actually finally great to see. Hey, these are actually real people, not photos.
We moved.
We're not bots.
Nah, that's cool, man. Glad to have you here. And before we jump into our NL West preview, let's do our beer of the week. AJ, sound effects?
Beer.
I gotta get reminded to make that noise. But Travis, guest of honor, you go ahead and let us know what you are drinking tonight, man.
Well, because this is a fancy night, I decided to bring out my old gentleman's Jack. It's Jack Daniels, but way better, and it's delicious.
Hey, we are an equal opportunity alcohol show here, so
Absolutely.
No, we do not care if it's liquor, beer, wine, whatever, man. You do you.
Well, last night I wiped out my beer reserve for St. Patty's, and I haven't changed to the grocery store, so.
Yeah, all good, man. All right, AJ, what you got?
All right. Well, I'm starting off with a dedicated to going rogue by Rogue Ales. It's their out of line West Coast India pale ale, and it's a 6.9% Gronk ABV. So it's pretty smooth, actually. I like it so far. So good choice, and I'm used to going rogue, as I'm sure you are well aware of. So cheers to that.
Yes. So I am drinking brewery that I've had here many times. Other half, and it is a triple Citra Chroma, a 10%er. So I only have one tonight, and it should do me pretty well. It's a heavy beer because it's triple, but it's smooth at the same time. It goes down pretty easy, which is scary because it's got all the Citra hops in it. So but I enjoyed this. I did give it a 4.5 on Untappd, so it is good stuff.
Nice.
Cheers, gentlemen. All right, let's jump into the NL West here. And first team alphabetically, Arizona Diamondbacks. Not a lot of new additions to this team. They got Soria, they got Tyler Clippard. Pretty much it. So move on here to the depth chart.
Cabrera. Cabrera also signed.
As Dribble Cabrera, yeah.
I mean, he's going to take up a spot.
I get it. Yeah.
He's a warm body.
Yeah. I wasn't really concerned with him. So, but you're right. You're right.
Well,
all right.
If you're a Dalton Varsho owner, I mean, you kind of care because he'll keep, Ketel Marte when Cole Calhoun comes back.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think you're only a Varsho owner if you're using him a catcher, I would hope. And, even if he platoons in outfield and gets some catcher time, he's going to be fine. But let's get to the lineup here. Right now, obviously, because of the injury, we're looking at David Peralta, Kettle Marte, Eduardo Escobar, Christian Walker, Josh Rojas, Carson Kelly, Dalton Varsho, and Nick Ahmed starting lineup there. Obviously, when Calhoun comes back, that changes things a little bit. Starting rotation, we got Madison Bumgarner, Zac Gallen, Luke Weaver, Caleb Smith, and Merrill Kelly. And yeah, AJ.
All right,
man.
So, Mr. Zac Galifianakis. I'm sorry, just kidding. Sorry, that's me going.
No, you're not.
I guess. I'm not at all. Zac Gallen has been pretty amazing in his first 152 innings of work. Granted, is this streak of ERA under 3 sustainable though?
A lot of the projections say no. They have him at a 360. I don't think he's going to be that bad. I think he'll be more in the 320s. And the reason why I say that is because he's got a great arsenal. His fastball isn't even his best pitch. And he's usually throwing about 93 with his fastball. But his whiff percentage on his breaking stuff, on his off-speed stuff, is much higher than his fastball. So based on the fact that he can kind of get people out with other things, he's a jack of all trades, he'll have a low ERA. And also, if you consider the fact he's got a great ground ball rate too, there's no reason to believe he can't do it if he pitches like 160 innings. But I think he's more like 320 than the 360 a lot of the projections have him at.
Yeah. Joe, what do you think about Galifianakis?
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think he's better than the projections have. I think the projections are looking at his FIP and his xFIP and getting kind of too caught up with all of that. Those are good indications of how good a pitcher is, but it doesn't always tell the whole story. Like, he's a ground ball pitcher, as you kind of mentioned, and so his FIP and xFIP are going to be higher because the expected run total and stuff like that is going to be higher because he's allowing a lot of contact, but it's just not going anywhere because the defense behind him is pretty solid, or whatever. So I think he is a very, very good pitcher, somebody that I'm actually targeting in drafts because I'm kind of going a lot with I may grab like one top end guy. I'm not going the double or even the triple like a lot of people are in the top 15. I'm kind of going outside of that. And, he might be one of my first targets in a lot of leagues because I'm pounding hitting early because people aren't. And I'm getting such good value. And I feel like I can find good value in pitching later, like a Zac Gallen. So he is somebody I really like this year. Moving on here, though, Kettle Marte fully broke out in 2019. Really unexpected, honestly. 32 bombs, 329 average. Stumbled hard last year, though. And, we said it many times. 2020 was 2020, so you take it for what it is, right? But, just 2 home runs. It was abysmal. What are we realistically expecting from him this season?
Somewhere in between his 2018 and 2019. Like, I think he could hit 20 plus homers. He actually kind of increased his hard hit percentage last year, despite not being able to hit home runs. The thing that plagued him was his ground ball rate just shot up. So if he can adjust his mechanics a little bit and stop hitting the ground ball and just lean into that raw power he has, he'll be great. And I think fantasy owners are a little weary of him because they're afraid he's going to be the next Marcus Semien, where he'll explode for a year and he won't. So, but he's only 26 years old. So
27.
Yeah. Something. Yeah.
Still, it's prime. It should be fine, but yeah.
Yeah. This is a guy you could see as a possible 2010 guy, and that's huge because stolen bases are, as we've talked about, hard to come by. And you're not necessarily going after him for steals, but the fact that he's got the double digit potential is huge. And for me, it boosts his value. I do like Marte. I think this is a decent lineup. He does have some protection around him. But I agree. I think he's going to possibly be, somewhere between 18, 19, hopefully a little closer to 19, though. So.
And one other thing I kind of want to point out in my notes is that last time the Arizona Diamondbacks were actually competitive in 2017, they were top 10 in stolen bases. So they want to get back to actually, I think they're delusional and think that they can compete. But if they want to actually try, they're going to have to start letting Marte run.
Yeah. The thing with Marte that kind of really calls out to me here is if you look at his Z swing, which is the percent of pitches that he swings at inside the strike zone, plummeted last year. It went from 71.6 the year before, and it's usually around 65, 68 to 60% last year. So he just wasn't swinging at good pitches last year. It was very odd. So, we say he had a lot of ground balls and things like that, and that's probably why he's swinging at bad pitches. I don't know what he was doing. So hopefully he gets back to being a little more aggressive because it feels like that's what works better for him. So, yeah.
So speaking of aggressive, let's talk about Christian Walker and his surprising 29 homers. Excuse me. In 2019. Is he a target for you later in drafts? Probably more as a corner infield option.
He is, since he's going around pick 200. He's moving up in the lineup. He was batting 5th for the longest time last season. And when I think he was batting 5th mostly when he hit 29 home runs. So the fact he's going to move up into the 4 spot, he's going to get more at bats. He's going to have more of the RBIs production. And he, over the past 2 years, he is has one of the best hard hit percentages among first basemen. Better than Freddie Freeman, better than Pete Alonso, and better than Luke Voit, who, as we all know, can smash the crap out of some balls.
Yeah.
That didn't sound right, but
that's all right.
So, yeah, he's definitely, because the other corner infielder options at that point in the draft are Gene Segura, past his prime, Justin Turner, way past his prime, Jared Walsh, he's a young guy you haven't quite seen. You could make the argument.
He's intriguing to me. I do kind of like him, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but give me the veteran who's shown that he's steadily improving.
Yeah.
Yeah, Christian Walker was a guy who I actually kind of liked when he was with the Orioles. They just never gave him a chance. Nope. And then they let him walk, or they traded him. I forget exactly what it was, but still, it was just, I don't know. And then as soon as he got his chance in 2019, it was oh, guess what? He's actually good at baseball. And the thing about him too, right, is a lot of these corner infielders you're going to go get late, or even a first baseman that you're going to get late. A lot of these guys, yeah, they might hit 30 bombs, 25, whatever. They got the power, but they usually like a huge drain on average that late. He's not. I mean, 259 in 2019, and then last year, granted, small sample size, but 271. So he's able to make good contact with the ball too. Like I said, his hard hit rate's good. He actually brought his K rate down last year. So I like him as a late target as well. I've have not gotten him yet in drafts, but it's just because it's kind of how my drafts fell. I wasn't targeting corner infield when he came around.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving on here to the Rocky Mountain High Colorado Rockies. New to the team, CJ Cron, Bueller. Okay, do we care?
Yeah.
A guy who tends to only hit homers going to a home run happy park. Okay, well, maybe it's interesting. Or maybe
Damn
it's
straight it
still
is.
CJ Cron.
Hey, CJ Cron that hit how many bombs for Tampa a couple of seasons ago?
Yeah.
30 in 2018 and then 29 or 25 in 2019 for Minnesota. We can forget about last year. He only played 13 games, so that doesn't count, but he still hit 4 bombs in 13 games. So like, hello.
He was on
guy,
base.
This guy, if he gets full playing time, I'm sorry, he's hitting 40 easily.
Yeah. But that's the problem. Will he get the full playing time?
Yeah, who knows?
Maybe.
A lot of bodies there, and
non-roster invite. So we'll see what happens. All right. So the lineup here, we've got Ramel Tapia at the leadoff. We've got Trevor Story, Charlie Blackmon, Ryan McMahon, Mr. Cron in the 5-hole, Sam Hilliard, Brendan Rodgers at second, and Elias Diaz at catcher. And then the pitching, we've got Herman Marquez, Kyle Freeland, John Gray, Austin Gomber, and Antonio Senzatella. Joe, take it away.
All right, we're going to start off here with Charlie Blackmon, and oh boy, his 2020 season was not good. ISO slugging dropped, hard hit rate dropped. His WRC plus was that of a below average hitter. Speed's not there anymore. He's giving you a handful of steals at best. So that, boosting his draft value is not there. I mean, he's going to be 35. Is he a fade for you this season? I'll personally tell you that he is for me. I just am not drafting him as ADP, not even close. So
I feel so bad because I hate picking on the elderly. But yeah, he's definitely a
elderly.
Damn,
he's younger than me.
I'm 30, so yeah, he's still old. But no, he is a fade for me because of what you showed. His power has declined. His speed's not there. And when you look around who he's going around with, I like those options better. Tejasker Hernandez. Right. I know a lot of people hate him, but he's fallen to the point to where he's around Charlie Blackmon. I mean, yeah, Hernandez will kill your average, but he might hit a way more home runs, and he's in a lot more exciting lineup.
He's going to steal more bases too.
Yeah.
And I mean, we got Conforto, Marte. I mean, he's more infielder, but he does have outfield eligibility in a lot of leagues. I mean, Castellanos is behind him, right? I mean, there's guys. I get you.
I would rather have the upside. I mean, I think Blackmon's mostly just going to be a 20+, maybe a 20+ home run hitter, and he's going to help you with average. And RBIs because of Story. I mean, that's where he's going to get most of that from.
Yeah. I was a big Blackmon fan for a long time, and finally owned him in almost every one of my leagues. And that year he sucked. He was just horrible. I don't know. It was like 2 or 3 years ago. He just fell off the map for me, at least from what I'm used to with him. And I don't know, there were some injuries that slowed him up and whatever. It just wasn't good. So, of course, me being me, I soured on him, and I haven't owned him since. But yeah, these stats are very alarming to me. Everything that's there is not really something I want at that spot. Hell, I would almost rather go out and take Chapman because you know what you're getting out of Chapman, Ks and saves. Okay, cool. 2 categories that I need help in. I'll take it. I'll find RBIs somewhere else. I'll find 3 stolen bases from, somebody with 2 left feet. Yeah. And, I'm not that worried about it. But yeah, there's definitely other options that I see around Blackmon that I would jump on easily. So jumping back into Trevor's story here. So he himself has been one of the most elite players over the last 2 seasons. But now that Arenado's gone, do you think Story will still be as good as he's been?
I do, mostly because they're going to keep him where he's at in the lineup. He's still going to bat second. So all the stats that he's in control of, getting on base, home runs, stolen bases, are not really going to affect him. And I know we kind of just pooed Charlie Blackmon, but he's still a decent enough hitter and average that'll get him across the place to keep Story's runs maybe somewhere in like the mid 80s. His RBI, Tapia isn't too bad. He'll be able to keep him up maybe in the mid 70 in RBIs. So I don't think anything's really going to change for Trevor Story. And I have no idea where the Rockies are going to go, if they're going to finally lift their embargo on no young players on the field and let these young guys develop, or if they're going to continue to be like, we're old man country around here. So, because if they do that, they'll kind of show to Trevor Story that's like, hey, we're actually willing to commit to you. We weren't to Arenado. But there's a good chance that if you draft him, he could be traded to a way better situation.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true.
I mean, yeah, it's funny you brought up the whole like they don't go after young players. I mean, they've screwed with their outfield for how many years? Like they've had so much talent out there. They just let it. Like Dahl should have been on the field way earlier than he was, and then when he finally did, he just got injured. It was unfortunate, but I mean, like it's just year to year.
His muscles were so atrophied from sitting on the bench for so many years.
Pretty much,
he couldn't run out there. And then you have the
away.
Ghost of Dante Bichette out there outrunning him because he was old and he got the playing time.
Oh man. Yeah, no, I'm with you on Story, man. Story, he's gonna be elite no matter what. I mean, the home runs and the steals make him a first round talent alone. Like he may drop a little bit in runs and RBI just because the lineup, because missing Arenado is a huge piece to miss. So counting stats may suffer a little bit, but I don't think it's enough to knock him out of the elite category at all. He's a potential 30-20 guy. So I like him a lot. Last guy here had a tough time finding a third question for this team, honestly. What with Daniel Bard? I mean, Colorado pitchers don't fare too well, but hey, late saves can be very valuable. Is he somebody, late in your draft, you're going, I've kind of let saves go. Maybe I'll just take a chance on Bard, who was good at the end of last year.
Technically, yeah, he is a late target if I can't get somebody else around that area. Like I like Anthony Bass for Miami, or even Jaime Garcia from Miami. I'd rather take a shot at one of those guys. Maybe even Brian Garcia even later if he wins the jobs for the Tigers. But I'm just really worried because he got the starting jobs based off like 10 good games last year. And the last time we saw him be any decent was 10 years ago. So there's kind of a big gap. Back when he was with the Red Sox, he was getting like 30 plus holds. Not too bad, but he walks a ton. He's got really bad issues with walking batters, and nothing's going to make him lose that job quicker than him walking some batters.
Yeah, you walk a guy, you're going to give up a home run real quick in Colorado and let up a ton of runs. So I feel you. I'm not targeting him in many drafts at all. I haven't gotten him yet, So I've luckily covered saves enough before I have to be desperate enough to take a Daniel Bard.
Yeah, I don't think I will be drafting a Daniel Bard this year unless somehow he can be the tiebreaker for throwing a baseball over the mountains over there that Uncle Rico is still trying to throw a football over. Speaking of Uncle Rico, again, going rogue here. Going rogue here. Between Uncle Rico and Al Bundy, who do you think has the better stories about their past football glory?
I mean, Al Bundy won a state championship. Come on, man.
That's true.
And he got the pose.
He had like 6 seasons worth of football stories. I mean,
but has he ever thrown a football over the mountains over there? And does he drive a fucking sweet ass van? No, he does not.
Did he hit a kid on a bike? We don't know yet. It's possible. Yeah.
Where do you think he got the pose from?
Oh, jeez.
All right, I digress. Move on.
No idea what's happening anymore. Welcome to the show, Travis. All right, moving on to the Dodgers. Boo. Okay. Are you a Red Sox fan? Oh, no. that was bad. That was a low blow. So the Dodgers, new to the team, not much, but it was big. Trevor Bauer. What are we thinking about one-eyed Trevor Bauer this year, man? Sorry, I got to call that out. That was funny as hell. Threw his first inning in the spring with one eye open. Like, this dude's a clown, but he's so good at baseball.
See, I think that's a gangster move, man. Just like, you can't stop this. Look, I'll throw it behind my back next time. You can't do nothing. Like,
he's gonna like shot put it.
Yeah.
Shot put 90 miles an hour. Show you a fucking knuckleball.
I mean, with Trevor Bauer signing with them, he's going to probably lead the Dodgers in inning pitches because they're going to have to kind of watch Buehler and Kershaw.
Yeah.
And it's just the rich get richer, man. Like, they didn't really need him. They had Tony and that's the thing that's really frustrating is Tony Gonsolin now gets pushed to the back, and we don't really get to
Dustin
see.
Man.
Yeah, yeah.
Around. We have a saying on this show: the pitchers get dodgered on this team. They get fucked with, man. Like, I'm sorry to say, but like, it's like, he sneezed too hard. He's got to go on the IL for 3 weeks so that we can lower his innings by 20 so he's fresh in the playoffs. Like, they'll just do it to do it. They'll make something up, and not always the case, but it seems like the case more often than not, right? I mean, it's just, I was a Ryu owner when he was with the Dodgers, and that drove me absolutely bonkers, man. I was like, come on, he's healthy. He goes to Toronto, and it's awesome the whole season. So, yeah, frustrating.
Even if you can dodge a wrench in Los Angeles, you cannot dodge the 10-day IL ever.
Love the
or
reference.
Innings pitched minimums. Maximums, yes, you can dodge them.
This guy's got a temperature roughly in the 90s. He's got to go to the IL now.
Yep. Yeah. Wait a minute.
All right. We got a
96
starting roster here.
You, sir, are clearly cold. Get the hell out of here and go warm up. All right. Might be a patch of COVID over there. Go run through that. Warm yourself back up. Try not to get it, but get heated up. Sorry, that's a little insensitive. Anyway.
Should have told me you were going to talk for 5 minutes. I would have drank. Yeah, lineups, man. So it's a good one. Obviously, Mookie Betts, Corey Seager. You got good old Justin Turner, Max Muncy, Will Smith, Cody Bellinger. Whoa, wait, what? He's sixth? Jesus, when the hell did that happen? AJ Pollock and Gavin Lux. That's interesting. I actually need to look into that more. When the hell did that happen? That's got to be wrong. That's got to be Justin Turner in the 6 and Bellinger in the 3. Right? Or is it right, left, right, left, right, left, right? That's why they did it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Instead of right, left, left, left. And
but wouldn't you still
silly.
Drop Muncie down.
Seager, somebody. Bellinger cannot be in the 6 hole. That's gonna crush his value, in my opinion. And then the starting rotation here: Clayton Kershaw, Trevor Bauer, Walker Buehler, Julio Urias, David Price, and then obviously we mentioned a couple of the guys behind him: Gausman, May. They're loaded. You're going to see all of these guys in the rotation at some point. Just trust me on this. It's going to happen. First question, AJ.
Okay, so after the hot start to his career, Mr. Seager obviously required Tommy John in 2018. In 2019, not the best form either, but he clearly bounced back in a huge way in 2020. Hit 307, 358 with 558 as his slash line. Finished with a WRC plus. I'd like to spell things out here, of 152. Do you believe Seager is back to being the superstar that we once saw, or should we worry about some regression again?
He's a superstar.
Yeah.
No, that's not. No, so one of the things I wanted to look at to see if there was actually going to be a regression was how he hit each different type of ball, fastball, breaking pitches, and the things. His ex-WOBAs last year were crazy. 462 on fastballs, 433 on breaking, and 329 on off speeds. And his actual WOBAs for that were, see, against the fastball, 394, 369, and 305. So against off-speed pitches, it was bad, so he's not hitting them well. But that's a much better increase from the 296 WOBA that he had against off-speed pitches last year. So he even kind of underperformed last year when he was having all this increase in power. So that right there kind of shows me that he's going to continue to be the smasher that he is. And that's all the Seagers seem to do. That whole family is nothing just power hitters.
Yeah, the thing that I noticed with him is that, you know, his exit velocity went up, went back to where when he was good. His launch angle was good again. So, you know, everything kind of, his barrel rate was like double last season than what it had been in the past. So maybe that comes down slightly, but yeah, he's back in there in the mix of one of the top shortstops in the game. Yeah, he's just outside that like top tier, mixed in with that second tier. You can kind of interchange all of them, I think. You know, the thing that kind of holds him back is he doesn't have the speed that some of those top tier guys are going to give you. So he's a good average power guy, a lot of RBI and runs because he's in a good lineup. But you know, you got to look for speed elsewhere with him, and that's the only reason why he drops out of that first tier, guys, for me.
So when the Seagers retire and move from California to the lovely hills of Idaho, like all Californians do you think that Corey's kids are going to look like Napoleon and Kip when, you know, Uncle Kyle's telling them stories about hitting baseballs over mountains? No? Anybody? Walker Buehler? Anybody?
I think they're just going to train their kids and just be like, chop down all these trees in Idaho and build up those forearms.
Exactly. You want to hit baseballs, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Chop me that bat over there, boy.
Man, you're full of references.
That's my last Napoleon Dynamite reference, I think.
No, it is not. You lie. All right. Moving on here. I want to touch on Max Muncy a little bit. You know, the last 2 full seasons of play, he's hit 35 home runs on the dot. You know, 2019, he was one shy of a 200 run in RBI season. So, guy is gonna produce. It seems like his ADP though is close to 100, which seems like a bargain. He's like the 12th second baseman taken. I didn't write. I know he's got multiple position eligibility. I didn't write down all of them, but yeah, first and third also. I mean, should he be drafted earlier, or are we legit concerned about the 192 average from last season?
I'm not really worried about the average because he's sorry. Over the past 3 seasons, he's decreased his strikeout rate. So that's going to help improve his average. Now it's slightly his walks kind of decreased too, but hopefully he can adjust that. He's going around like pick 100 right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's ever going to get back to the 55 average or the 260 average he had the 2 seasons before. So if you take in the fact that maybe he bounces back, has a 230, hits 30 home runs, and he's going to have, counting stats are going to be really high. But that's about the same as Mike Moustakas, who you can get 20 picks later. So
Yeah,
it's like maybe you want the eligibility, but they're talking about moving Moustakas back to third.
I have heard
and
that.
all this. Yeah. And I know there's in some leagues he even qualify like Moustakas because on Yahoo they let you play a base one time. You got the eligibility
forever.
So,
yeah.
So he's even like qualifying at first, second, and third in some drafts.
Wow.
So they're like literally the same player. You get him 20 picks later.
Yeah, I think to me, Max Muncie is more of a best ball type player target for me because of the position eligibility. Granted, I want him at second base more than anything, but like having the first and the third just helps you with roster flexibility so much more. It lets you, later in drafts kind of reach on somebody else maybe you wouldn't have or whatever, just for upside because you've got that opportunity. To be able to move Muncie around. But AJ, what do you think about Muncie?
I like Muncie. I mean, I'm not too worried about the average for where he is ADP. There's plenty of better options there, but it is a trade-off, and I do like to play the position eligibility game, especially in the leagues where I have the corner infielders and the middle infielder positions plus multiple utility. It's just the flexibility on those random off days. And I mean, we still don't know exactly how this season is going to play out with COVID still, hanging around. So, those last minute like moves, it's like, oh shit, what am I going to do? Oh, I'm going to put Muncie here every day. That's pretty much literally the move every day. So I do like him. I like the production. Again, the average doesn't really worry me that much. I mean, he was hitting 263, 251 in his first 2 seasons in LA. After just abysmal averages closer to last year when he was in Oakland. So I think that he can come back up with that. And again, this is another powerful lineup. They're going to have to pitch to somebody. So I feel like he's going to end up getting pitches thrown to him. And I think he can do something with it. Last year, I'm not putting much stock into last year for him at all.
No, he's not going to have that bad of an average, but I don't think.
No. Just in general, his stats overall last year were not overly impressive. So,
and the power was still there, but yeah, other than that, it wasn't as good as years prior, but yeah.
But I don't know. So, moving into Old Man River here, Mr. Clayton Kershaw. I mean, the dude's still a great pitcher. His K9, not at the elite levels that it used to be, but again, he's old. He's got to rely more
still
on
younger than us,
now.
by the way.
Yeah, what's that?
Still younger than us, by the way. But yeah, he's got some mileage on him. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. He's got more mileage on him than most of the cars I've owned. So, and I drive a lot. Anyway, his biggest issue the last few seasons has clearly been his health. Missed time with back, shoulder pain. Wait, are we talking about Kershaw or Mad Max? I'm sorry. Wait, what?
They're kind of the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically the same guy, except one has 2 eyes that are the same color. Is Kershaw worth the risk at his ADP of 32?
I think he is. I mean, he had an 11 K9 rate in the playoffs last season. We talked about it. The Dodgers are going to try to make sure he stays as healthy as possible. So hopefully maybe if they do limit his innings a little bit, he'll be able to stay out there, avoid a 2-week trip on the IL. Because if you look at where he's going around 32, from pitchers 9 to 15, there's questions about all of them. Max Scherzer, old guy, can he continue the power? Luis Castillo, home run threat, could crush your ERA. Jack Flaherty, which one's showing up? 2.75 ERA or almost 5 ERA?
You've been watching all of our shows? We talked about all of these.
Yeah. Brandon Woodruff, 2-pitch pitcher. I mean, if he can't get him out with this fastball, he's screwed. There's questions in all of these early round guys. So give me the 3-time Cy Young winner and the 5-time ERA title holder.
Yeah, I have trouble taking him, and this is where, because I'm not loading up on pitchers early, like I'm granted, I haven't had the opportunity to take a Grom or Cole because I've had either pick 12 or 15 twice. And then I had pick 5 in a best ball league and took Trout. But I haven't been at the end of the round. I haven't been getting the Bauers or the Coles or the Biebers, the Bauers, the Darvishes, the Giolitos at the end. I haven't been getting them on the turn. I've passed on them. I've been going after hitting hard and waited for that, like, probably next 2 tiers of pitchers before I can finally grab one. So Kershaw hasn't been there, but even if he was, I think I would pass on him and go after somebody who's just healthier. I do worry about they're going to limit his innings. So that's going to limit strikeouts. It's going to limit wins. It's going to limit everything for him. He's going to end up on the IL at some point because the Dodgers do their thing. They're just going to be like, oh, his shoulder's bothering him. Throw him in the IL for 2 weeks. That's what they're going to do. It's smart for them baseball-wise, but it sucks for fantasy owners. So I don't want him because of that. I will take a Woodruff over him. I will take a Snell over him. Things like that, or just pass on that group altogether there, maybe, because as you said, there's a lot of question marks, and maybe go after the next group there, which is pretty solid itself. So I'm not a big fan of Kershaw, even at sort of a discount at this point. So,
all right, so let's move into the other whale's vagina of baseball and of the off season, because it just sucked everything into it. And, it's going to be making World Series babies soon. So new to the team, we've got Yu Darvish. We've got Blake Snell. We've got Joe Musgrove. Whoa, wait a minute. I mean,
here we go.
Let's just start.
I like his first name.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
They also have Mike Clevenger, who's on the IL. But I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, let's discuss this massive overhaul here. We'll call it in a nice term for once, of this pitching staff. What do you think of all of these ads?
They needed to do it desperately. Hold on. Sorry about that, guys. They needed to do it because the Los Angeles Dodgers have owned this division for the past couple of years. They're the Harlem Globetrotters, and the rest of it are the Washington Generals. You hope maybe they'll win one. And I think this also goes to the fact that when Machado signed there a couple of seasons ago, they kind of promised him they were going to build a winner. And they've been able to do it. They've rehauled this whole pitching staff without even having to give up Mackenzie Gore, the number one pitching prospect in baseball.
So crazy.
How's that happen?
It's unbelievable.
They dodged him.
Now and Clevenger without having.
He's off limits. He's got a toenail that's hanging out with a hangnail on his hand, and no, you don't want any of that.
So yeah, they just desperately needed to do this just to be competitive, and now they've got young guys. Tatis is wrapped up for the future. They're set, man.
Yeah, this seems loaded, man. I love this rehaul that they did. Darvish is, looking like Darvish of old. I like Snell a lot. Musgrove is kind of an under the radar guy who, sneaky good, not going to blow you away, but he's good. It's kind of Like it would be something crazy. Like if Clevenger was actually healthy this year, like and Paddock would be their 5th. It's just so nuts. But anyway, AJ, I'll let you finish here, man.
All right. So also brought in utility man Ha Seong Kim and Victor Caratini to play catcher. So the projected lineup here for the San Diego Fathers, we've got Trent Grisham, Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado. See him behind me.
Manny should have worn
Kicking
my
the
Manny
shit out
jersey. I
of
forgot.
what's his face.
Well, I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I know. I don't even know where the hell mine is. It's still packed somewhere. Actually, you know what? Never mind. It's probably right in front of me. Yep, it is. I'm an idiot. I have a tote in the office here with
That's
all of
hilarious.
my like usual suspect shirts that I wear on the show, and I have a couple of my jerseys nicely folded in there.
All right.
Anyway, Machado, we got Eric Hosmer, Tommy Pham, Will Myers, Jake
Tell us how
Cronenberg,
you feel, man.
and Mr. Caratini. And then we've already talked about the entire pitching staff except for Paddock at the 4 and Adrian Morajan at the 5 for now.
Yeah.
Also
now.
have Pomerantz, who might get a couple of random like
Probably bring up Gore at some
starter
point.
innings or whatever.
Or at least everybody hopes.
Emilio Pagan, he's played in that role of starter. Yeah, I don't know. I'm done with this team.
All right. So we've talked about Chris Paddock a couple of times already. But let's do the first question about him. He was a hot commodity come the 2020 drafts. Like mid-March, early March, mid-March draft time. Like everybody wanted this guy, especially in dynasty leagues. He had a stellar rookie season, couple hiccups, but like overall super good rookie season, man. But he disappointed big time last season. Kind of, the limelight was on him, and 4.73 ERA. His FIP says it should have been even worse, so not good. He's at best right now the number 3 starter if you want to slot him ahead of Musgrove, but I think they're probably going to make him the 4. As you know, especially Fangraphs, roster resource said there. Without the spotlight being on him, can he kind of go back to being the pitcher that he was in 2019, or just you're off this guy?
I'm off him. He doesn't have a third pitch.
Yeah,
he's just got his fastball and the changeup, and he throws a curveball every once in a while. But if you look at his spray chart for that, it's always coming across the plate at chest level. Curveballs are in the dirt, man. So what are you doing? Starting up at the head and then it sinks down at chest level? Like, that's great. Until he learns to control a curveball and throw it a little bit more, I'm out on him. They caught on. Yes, he's got good movement on his fastball, but he got jacked up last season. And until he develops more of an arsenal, I'm out on him.
Yeah, I think I'm out on him as well. Dynasty, I might be okay just trying to hold him, but I'd be fine letting him go too if there was someone else that really had their pants wet over him. I'd be all over trying to unload him for some value. He's not going to be doing much for you until he can figure out more pitches and more innings. Then he's not worth it. So, all right, Tommy Pham. Disastrous 2020. After going 20-20, 2 of the last 3 seasons. 2015, the one is the one that he missed. So he was still right there, very very consistent, which is something we always look for in fantasy sports. Can we expect a bounce back from him, or is this offense just not loaded enough. Oh wait, just kidding.
No, he's definitely a bounce back category. So the thing that I found that plagued Tommy Pham was that he couldn't hit fastballs anymore. His WOBA against fastballs was 284, and normally in his career he hits 423. So that is a real big significant dip against fastballs. So, and he was fine hitting off speed and breaking pitches. So if he can learn how to hit the fastball again, like he's done throughout his career, he's going to be fine. He's going to be a 2020 guy.
Yeah, he's a huge target of mine. His draft value is phenomenal. He, I kind of forget about him when I go in drafts, and then all of a sudden, like, I'm looking at like my third outfielder, and I'm like, oh wait, Tommy Pham, yes, click, and it's just like an automatic, man. Like, you're gonna get some steals, you're gonna get power. The power is not gonna be phenomenal, but hopefully, you load it up with some power early, and if you had to sacrifice some steals early to get some of that power, then he's the perfect guy for you. So I like him a lot. This lineup is loaded, as we've obviously mentioned before. I'm just kind of brushing 2020 under the rug. You'd be like, we're just gonna forget about that. I mean, his K rate went back up from granted it had been high in years past, but he kind of fixed that in 2019 when he went 20 and 25. So I'm thinking hopefully he goes back to having an under 20 K rate again there. So yeah, I'm a big Tommy fan this year. Yeah, I just did that. All right. Speaking of loaded offense. Okay.
Well, one more point I wanted to make on Pham.
Sure.
You know who's going ahead of him? Byron Buxton.
Yeah, no, we've already talked about Byron Buxton. You have watched all our shows.
Moving on.
Thanks. You're the biggest fan we've got. Yeah, Byron Buxton is like big to all of us here. I don't get it. I never have gotten the like maybe the first year I was like, yeah, all right, fine, I get it. Buxton's a young guy, he should be good. No, dude, it's been like 5 years of the same shit with this guy. Like, just stop. Never again am I drafting this guy. He's gonna prove me wrong once.
Keep it up because everybody else other than us still loves you. So please keep filling their draft boards and leave mine free for
one
Tommy
or two
Pham.
in your. There's always one or two in your draft that are like, ooh, Byron Buxton, yeah, and you're like, I'm like, thanks, bye.
Yeah,
my board anymore.
He's the prototypical comparison of the fantasy football commercial where the guy can't even say TJ Hajimazili Mazada did that guy championship. No, dumbass, you just picked Byron Buxton. He's going to be a championship bench rider for you because he's going to be injured the whole fucking season.
He'll be riding your IL. Yeah, no kidding.
Bye.
All right, let's move on here. Fernando Tuttis Jr., flat out stud, elite player, one of the best in the game. I mean, much to say about this guy, hasn't already been said, but I always like to ask this with these top guys because they're all kind of lumped together. Is he worth the number one pick over somebody like Acuna, Betts, and Soto? Those are the four. Would you take Tatis number one, or would you take one of these other guys instead?
So, and when you make this decision, they're all going to produce pretty much the same stats: 30 plus homers, 20 plus runs. Average is going to be about 280s. Runs and RBIs are all going to be about the same. So the only real argument for Tatis as number one is it's going to be so fun to watch him this year. He's got a big personality. He's got that swagger. He's in a great lineup. He's going to be in a lot of good games. So, yeah, I would take him just because I want to root for my fantasy team. I want it to have fun. I know this seems weird because, like, Betts, you know what you're getting with Betts. And I know Acuna is only, like, 23 years old, but he feels like he's kind of like old, washed-up news. Like, yeah, we know what we're getting with him.
Boring.
Soto, he's got a crisp backswing. I mean, it's just pretty. It always cracks when he hits it. And Tatis, like I said with Tatis, he's the same way, got a nice swing. Give me those young guys who are just exciting because they're new.
Give me those bat flips.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
yeah. We need some new Joey bats.
I'm an
coming
Acuna
through.
guy because I think the steals he's going to give you over the other ones are just that much more. Like Acuna is literally like a 40-40 potential guy. So I'm an Acuna guy, but I feel you with they're all phenomenal. So it's hard to pick, but I'm an Acuna guy. All right, AJ, what do you got?
Well, if I were a Disney fan, I'd probably be naming my team Acuna Machado this year. But I
Not your
the
best.
average kills it for me for Acuna. I think
he bounces back. I don't think he's this bad, but
I don't think he's that bad either. But
he's not the Betts.
Yeah, for me, it's Betts, Tatis, bat flip, in the shape of a coin. Then Acuna, then Soto, probably.
Interesting. I mean, I've seen everybody go all over the place. I've seen Grom go number one. Like, people love the pitching this year. They want their stud. I've seen him go number one, and I honestly have no issues with it. I get it. You need those innings eaters. You're gonna need those Ks. We're still gonna see ton of guys go 4 to 5 innings just because they have to. We're gonna see a ton of 6-man rotations. So you get a Grom and a Cole who can go 7, 8 every time they're on the mound. That's gonna be super valuable. So I get it. It's just not something I'm doing. So anyway. We're going to cheat. We're going to ask you one more question about the Padres. We have not done this before. We've done 3 for every team, but we'll see how we make up for it later.
All right. So we're stealing a question from the Giants to ask another one for the Padres. So we'll get your thoughts on that whole thing later. But what do you make of the second base competition here between Cronenworth, Kim, and Jurickson Profar?
They're like the Patriots backfield. They're all going to be productive. You just don't know when.
Yeah, right.
Like Cronenworth right now is actually hitting well in spring training. He's had a double, a triple. He's actually walking more than what he's striking out. Kim is striking out a ton and isn't making much contact. Profar is just Profar. He's a super utility guy that's probably going to be playing in most games every week because he's going to be helping people rest. So
he can go in the outfield too.
Yeah, if you asked me at the beginning of the year, I would have said Kim, hands down. Now, because of spring training, I'm starting to lean more towards Cronenworth. And I think at this point in the draft, because they're going right next to each other in drafts. So it kind of depends. At that point, if you're looking for more a steady floor, you want to make sure you're getting what you pay at that position, I'd go Cronenworth. But if you're looking for more of an upside play, I'd go Kim. And I mean, Profar, he's a late steal in the 300s.
Yeah, I'm not really on Profar. I got you there. I have avoided this for the most part. In my best ball league, Ras Slam, I took Cronenworth because he's got the position eligibility, and he fell. He fell hard. I took him like 80 picks later than his ADP. It was crazy. I was like, all right, fine. I will finally fall on the grenade that is Cronenworth. Like, it's not that bad, guys. It was just crazy. So I finally did it. But I mean, I get the concern that we don't know what the playing time is going to be. He was good, but he wasn't like spectacular last year. Like, the stats weren't really crazy, like off the charts. Like, it was just sort of like, all right, I mean, he's solid. But and then when you bring in a guy like Kim, who was amazing, obviously the KBO, but 30-30 guy, but he's not doing that. But I mean, if Kim could get legit playing time, I said it in my underrated infielders article that I wrote 30 weeks ago now. I said Kim could be a 15-15 guy. But obviously, as you've mentioned, the spring training concerns, and so I'm a little off of that now because I'm not sure the playing time is going to be there as much as I thought. But I thought for sure they would figure out a way to get this guy on the field. And maybe they still do. You know, maybe they throw Kim in the outfield. I've heard rumors about that as well. So we'll see what happens. Kim can play shortstop as well. Not that they're putting taking Tatis off
have
the
a
field
gaping hole there. So I mean that's
for,
great
for Kim. But Tatis is going to have to
spot.
miss a game here and there. So that's another possibility for him. So I'm on Cronenworth if I had to pick somebody, but I really just don't like having to choose from these guys, honestly. So let's move on here to our last team of the division and our last team that we're talking about before the season starts, and it is the San Francisco Giants. A lot of moves, nothing really exciting, unfortunately. Tommy La Stella, Jake McGee, Anthony Desclafini, Aaron Sanchez, and then Alex Wood. Sort of interesting, but on the IL. So,
Wait, a former Dodger pitcher on the IL? Get the hell out of here, man!
You mean Alex Wood on the IL? That guy was actually legit
true
on
too.
the IL. I don't know about the rest of the guys that go on the IL.
They
for
might
the
as well
Dodgers,
just
but
call
he
it the AW.
Ah, man, you're on fire tonight. Half the time.
You're welcome.
Yeah, the starting roster here, we got Tommy La Stella starting off, Mike Yastrzemski, Donovan Solano, Alex Dickerson, Buster Posey, Evan Longoria, Brandon Crawford, and Mauricio Dubon. This probably is the oldest team in the major leagues. The only player under 30 is Dubon. So, yeah, this isn't going to be good. Starting pitching, Kevin Gausman, Johnny Cueto, Anthony Desclafini, Logan Webb, and Aaron Sanchez. And closer, possibly Jake McGee, I suppose. We don't really know. We're going to pass on that one, too. So, all right. First question, AG.
Okay, let's just roll right into it here. What do we think about Alex Wood? No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, I had to move my thing. So Mike Yastrzemski seems to be kind of the lone bright spot in this lineup. He was on pace last season for 30 homers. Projections have him in around 25 this year. Never really displayed this type of power in the minors, though. I mean, are you buying into this? Is this for real, or will he just go back to simply being a contact hitter?
So far, there isn't anything to show that it won't. His exit velocity has stayed the same. His hard hits the same. Barrel percentage is pretty much the same. It's just slightly increased. I look back at to see if maybe his ground ball or fly ball rates are different from the minor leagues. They're pretty much the same. I wish Fangraphs would tell us their hard ball contact rate, because that's the only one I can't see to compare to his minor leagues. But
Minor league, yeah.
Yeah, with the minor leagues, they don't have that, so it's kind of hard to see if he was actually still getting that swing to get the hard contact. So it could just be one of those things that once he got called up to the majors, they were able to fine-tune his approach, and off he went. I mean, I really like him to be he'll hit 20 home runs and possibly even more than that. And like you said, he's the lone spot in this lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's not somebody I'm targeting super high because I think the counting stats are going to be tough to come by compared to some of the other players, possibly going around him. But he's a solid hitter. I got him super late last year in the Raz Slam, and he was one of the big contributors of my team that led me to win my division. So it was a huge steal. But again, I really wish you could see the minor leagues. I was looking for the exact same thing you were. It was funny. I was like, oh, let me go do my own research and figure this out. And I'm like, damn, man, I just don't give the minor league stats. I'm like, this has to be out there somewhere. I just literally have no idea where to find it. So, again, it's just there's some guys going around him that I could see myself taking over him. You got the Eddie Rosarios, you got, this is also a range where I really like to grab some of these pitchers. So there's Charlie Morton, huge fan of his. We've got, if you kind of missed on that first elite tier of closers, you've got Kenley Jansen, who's, he's falling, but he's going to get saves. I mean, there's no doubt about it. This guy's going to still be it. So, that's the category that counts. So there's just some guys there that I think I'm taking over him because I've probably loaded up on at least 2 outfielders before I have to get to him, but he's a good, safe option. I think the power I'm with you. I think the power is here to stay. I don't see anything that tells me otherwise. It's again, I thought the same thing. It was just like, maybe that happens. Maybe he just figures it out once he gets to the pros, which is odd, but sure.
Yeah.
We've seen it happen before.
So I do have minor league stats up here for him.
Hard hit rate?
No, I don't.
No, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about those like metrics.
Good metrics stats.
Yeah, we had the minor league stats. I want like the hard hit rate and that kind of stuff. That I want to see how he hit the ball. I don't care about home runs and stuff because he wasn't getting the home runs in the minors. That was the thing. So he came up and everybody's just like, well, he's not his dad. He's not his, whoever. And it's just kind of like, all right. And then it was like, whoa, wait a minute. He's crushing the ball all of a sudden. Like, all right, let's pay more attention to him. So anyway, let's move on here to the last question of the night. And it's about Kevin Gausman. I mean, this guy has been up here, down here, up here, down here, up here, down here. Like, he moves all from Baltimore, first off, and he was lights out for Atlanta. It was great. And then he goes to Cincy and sucks. And then he goes to San Francisco and was like, oh, hey, I can throw 2 more strikeouts an inning, like, or a game. Like, wait, what? Where'd that come from? He upped his strikeout rate by like 2, almost 3, up to 11.92 last year. His ERA was 3.62, and his FIP and xFIP were actually better than what his ERA was. I mean, I don't know. I have a hard time trusting Kevin Gausman, probably because I'm an Orioles fan and I've just seen him just get crushed too many times. But if you believe in this guy, convince me that I need to buy him in drafts.
Well, let me try to entice you.
Okay.
The Giants have here recently been able to find a way to find these pitchers who are on the way down, fine tune them, and make them halfway decent for a while. So I think that's what's kind of happened with the Gassman. And he's got a 10-12 K9 rate over the past 2 seasons. That was better than Jack Flaherty, Walker Buehler, Zac Gallen, Aaron Nola. I mean, those are early round guys that you're getting, and you're getting him like what pick 1/3, like in 140s. Yeah, it's
much later.
See, unlike you, Joe, I am one of the guys that's kind of targeting pitching early. So if I get the Gassman as my 3rd pitcher, I'm ecstatic because now I've got all those strikeouts. Yeah, he's probably going to hurt my ERA a little bit, but whatever. The trade-off that I get for the strikeouts makes it so much worth it.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you're not – if he can go in the mid-3s or even the high 3s, you've probably paired him up with a couple of guys that are going to – if you go early, you're hopefully pairing him up with a couple of guys that are going to go high 2s, if not lower. And so, yeah, how much is that really hurting you? And you're going to get elite strikeout numbers if he can keep it up. I don't know. I'm just biased, man. Like AJ, like you and I watched him for years here, and it's just crushing. Of course, I mean, Camden Yards does that to everybody, it feels like. So it's maybe I should.
I mean, I think he's definitely in more of a pitcher's park there.
Yes.
I mean, which isn't really hard to do coming from Camden Yards. But I don't know. He's intriguing to me, but I still don't know if I can pull the trigger and go against my bias. But we'll see. I mean, he could be one of those guys that, honestly, in one of the leagues I'm in, he might not even get drafted.
No, that's not. No,
Like
that's not gonna
four-man
happen,
league? Like,
Trust
what-
me.
dude.
No,
There's no way. There's no way.
It could
So-
happen. It is a one-man team that I am running, and I don't know. I'm up in the air on him, so I'm kidding.
AJ,
Of course
AJ
he's going to
wins
get
his money
drafted.
back every year. All right. So here's the thing that I'm noticing with Kevin Gausman. I'm looking at pitch type info. Last year, he threw his changeup 12%, almost 13% of the time. And that was a drastic increase. I mean, he's never thrown it above 7%, which was his rookie season. Other than that, it was been lower than 4, and then we're at 2s and almost nothing. So like he brought back his changeup last season, and obviously it made a drastic difference. So I mean, maybe there's just something to that. I mean, like that, and that's what now that I'm seeing that, like maybe there is a little bit of like, all right, maybe I should start paying more attention to him, because like when you see the improvement in a pitcher or a player in general, you want to see what changed, and if something's different and they made an adjustment, then okay, fine, maybe you can buy in a little bit more. So, and I got to look a little bit more into the changeup pitch. I haven't, unfortunately, but that is something to pay attention to. It's just, I don't know. I'm a little.
I got
I've
one
been
more
hurt.
thing to try
I've
to
been hurt.
entice you.
I've been hurt in the past by Gausman before.
So over the past 2 seasons, 67% of his pitches have gone for strikes. Only 17% of his pitches have actually been put into play. So they're not hitting them.
All right.
So
That's interesting.
He's got some stuff.
That's interesting because 2 years ago he had a 5.72 ERA. So you're saying only 17% of it weren't put into play. What are they all home runs
for the past 2 years?
Lord.
Like,
God,
he's pitching.
sakes.
Yeah. Of course.
Oh man,
He
had a horrible BABIP of 344 in 2018. So or in 2019, every hit was just in play. That's crazy. That's really high. So yeah, I don't know. I've been sort of off of him. Maybe I got a readjustment strategy for the last couple of drafts I've got here. So, all right, man. Last thing we do is our standings predictions for the division here. So we'll let you go first. What do you got?
I got the Dodgers winning it again. The Padres are going to make it close, but they're just still too good and still have a plethora of everything: hitters, pitchers. I mean, their bullpen could go like 8-man deep. Like it's ridiculous. Then I got the Padres, and then I have the Giants. I know, like, it seems like doom and gloom, and I'm not a Giants fan. This is my wife's hat. She forced me to wear it tonight. So I want to sleep I'm a Brewers fan, but I want to sleep in my bed tonight. So she's like, "You're going on the podcast.
Nice.
You wear this hat and show people."
Love it.
So
Love it.
I want to sleep in my bed. I'll go Giants because I think they'll be a little bit improved. And, some of their pitchers step up. I like Logan Webb. I think he'll be pretty interesting if he can get the innings and stuff. Then I got the Diamondbacks. Well, it's probably going to be a fight between the Giants and Diamondbacks for third place. And then the Rockies, because who the hell knows what they're doing.
Right. AJ, where are you going?
I'm going Padres first, man. They have
thought
way
about
too much pitching to back up this powerful offense now. It's going to be tight, but I think it's going to come down to the matchups between them and LA, and they're going to have 1 or 2 more wins, against each other. In my opinion. So I'm going Padres, Dodgers. I'm going to go Rockies. Fuck it. Why not? I don't know. Too many home runs. And the ghost of Dante Bichette. So why not? Giants. And I think the D-backs are just going to suck. So why not? Last place.
So I'm going Dodgers. I think I like what the Padres have done. I think they're going to get really close, like Travis said. But the Dodgers have so much more pitching depth. They're going to keep some guys fresh. They're going to pull up Dustin May. They're going to pull up Gonsolin and whoever else. And they're just going to fill in the rotation while some guys sit for a couple weeks. The Padres don't have that luxury except with Gore. Dodgers 1, Padres 2. I'm going Diamondbacks 3, Rockies 4, although it's, dude, 3, 4, 5 are all bottom feeders to me. Like, it doesn't really matter. Diamondbacks, Rockies, Giants. I just think the Giants, like, after Gausman, and Gausman is not a sexy pitcher for me, obviously. Like, I just don't see their other pitchers getting more than like 2-3 wins. Like, it's just, I don't know.
Have you seen him in a gimp mask?
Done. All right, Travis. Oh, Travis. All right, that's it, man, for the show. I want to thank you for coming on and hanging out with us tonight and talking some NL West with us. Let's before you go, let's let everybody know where they can find you on the internet and what you got going on.
You can find me on Twitter at Argo Travis. I forgot to put it in the headline here.
It's all good.
I don't know. I don't hope you don't mind if I plug my podcast
plug
here.
Whatever you plug, man.
Major Balls and Glory Holes. We are a sports comedy podcast. It's mostly just dick jokes with sports sprinkled in here and there.
So you're bringing AJ on.
Yes. Apparently, yes.
And other than that, you catch me at the website. I do a weekly DFS that comes out on Wednesdays, and I'm also going to be in charge of the closer chart this year. So I'm going to be helping you guys get through the madness that is going to be closers. It's already starting. There's a bunch of guys already out, and
Hunter Harvey randomly went out. I'm so mad at him. Like, geez,
Right
I needed his 10 steals or his 10 saves. I mean, like, come on. All right, man. Well, it's a good show, man. Appreciate you coming on again, and check out his stuff on the site, Fantasy Six Pack, guys. So have a good night, Travis. We will talk to you later.
All right, thanks for having me on, guys.
Take it easy.
All right, AJ. That's all I've got for the show. You want to? You've been on fire tonight, man. I feel like you have something else in.
I probably do.
Jeez.
Let me dig into the doldrums here.
Oh no.
See what I can find.
What did I allow here?
I don't know. I'm good.
No, we're good. All right. Yeah. Well, that's it for the previews. Again, as I mentioned, go ahead and check all of them out. You find them on YouTube, Periscope, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. We are there. So go check those out. Next week, we are going to be doing we're going to have Kurland on, doing some late season ADP risers, fallers, spring training battles, talk and stuff like that. He does some great work in following all of that. So we're going to have him on. That's going to be a good show. And make sure you check it out next Thursday. So that's all I got. Have a good night, folks. Peace.